The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter was made possible by a contribution from Daily Magic Games. Hello and welcome to another episode of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad.
I'm Megan the Daughter.
And today we are playing Valeria Card Kingdoms.
This is by Daily Magic Games and it's kind of like Machikoro.
Yeah, we're gonna be rolling dice, and depending on the values that come up on the dice, we're gonna get resources that are gonna allow us to fight monsters or recruit citizens into our kingdom.
You
or
can gain control over some domains.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the base game, the recommended first game, even though we've already played all of the recommended games in the rule book. But
that way you just get a good feel of how to start it off.
Exactly. So instead of listening to us talk anymore, check it out.
Okay. So for this game, you are going to be rolling these two dice, and you're going to get 3 values out of them, and that is going to correspond to what kind of fires off in your little kingdom down here, and how that kind of plays into what you can buy of the citizens. So you're going to go ahead and roll your dice, and what you're going to do, this one actually worked really well, so you are going to get, I'll make it like that just so it shows better. So you'll have your 5, that will trigger, so that will go with your peasant. You'll get your 6, that will trigger, and that will go with your knight. And then you're going to add these 2, so 5 and 6 make 11, and that would trigger your butcher. So what we mean by that is, if you want to go ahead and show off the card.
So we're going to each start with a peasant and a knight. And you'll see the peasant is a number 5 and the knight is a number 6. That means when we roll a 5, the peasant is going to activate. We roll a 6, the knight will activate. Now, you'll see these 2 things down at the bottom. There's a single person view and there's like a multi-person view. So the single one is when you roll that. So if Megan rolls a 5, she would collect 1 coin. Also, on my turn, if I roll a 5, Megan would look at this column and she would also collect 1. So the peasant and the knight they're basically the same thing. The knight's going to get a strength whenever they fire off. So on a 5 or a 6, you would look and see, oh, the peasant's going to activate and the knight will activate. Now, if we also had an 11, the 11 would activate, and the 11 just happens to be the butcher.
And the 11 is also 11, 12, along with 9 is 9 and 10.
Right, so this means that if either the 11 or 12 is rolled, then the butcher will activate. Now you can see the butcher is a little different. The butcher says that on your turn, you're going to get 2 coins for every citizen that you have that has a hammer. So we look and see, this is the symbol that we're going to compare that to. So we look in our kingdom, we count up all those, we would multiply it by 2, and that's how much gold we get. Now, if the other person rolls it, then we're only going to get 4 coins.
Which is still pretty good.
It's not bad.
So every turn, you are always going to have that ability to do something. So you're always going to go through roll phase. So you're going to roll, and then you have the harvest is when you kind of collect whatever is designated on the bottom. So if for whatever reason, let's say it was a 1 and a 3. So at the moment, we don't have any 1s or 3s or 4s in our kingdom. What we can do is we can take then a magic, which is one of these blue chips, money, which is the gold, and a strength, which is the red. Right, so if you roll and you can never activate any of your guys in your kingdom, then you get the option to take 1 of those. Now, let's talk about how we have the board set up here. The top row is all monsters. Now, monsters is where these strength tokens come in, because we have to have we have to basically pay the amount of strength tokens needed to defeat that monster. So we look at this little goblin here, which looks like a little rat with a spear. He only takes 1 strength to beat. At the end of the game, he's going to be worth 1 victory point. And then when we kill him or defeat him, we're going to immediately collect that 1 gold. Now, you'll notice that these stacks, some of them are the same. So we have a couple trolls there. But then they're going to start getting bigger. So we have a goblin mage. Oh, excuse me, these are goblins, not trolls. Yeah.
Goblin mage, he's going to require 3 strength to beat. He's going to give us 2 victory points at the end, and we either get a coin or a magic. And then we have the goblin king, which will require 6 strength to defeat. he will give us 4 victory points at the end of the game. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get a coin for every one of these symbols that we have basically defeated. Now this is the I'm trying to remember which one this one is. There's hills and there's barrens. I don't think this is either one of those.
That one is going to be one of our hill domains.
Okay.
Kingdoms.
So this is the hills. So again, so we're going to get 1 coin for every hill monster that we have defeated.
So in this version, or the setup, we were playing with the hills, the ruins, the forest, the valley, and the mountains.
Yeah, some of these are a lot easier to figure out. Like the ruins, their symbol is like a castle. The forest is trees. This is the valley. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's the valley.
Because it kind of has a dip, and then the mountains look like mountains. So some of them are a little bit easier to figure out. Now, the next 2 rows are all of our citizens. Now, they are in order from 1 all the way up to 12. Now, they do have a cost on these, and I didn't talk about that earlier. So, if we look at the cleric here, it'll show the cost right here. So, this says 3 plus. So, what that means is the first one that we buy is going to cost 3. And then the plus comes into, if we have more clerics in our kingdom, we would add up however many those are. Let's say we already had 2 and we bought this one. It would cost us 5 because it would be 3 plus and then the number that we have in our kingdom. The cleric is kind of expensive. Their cost 3, merchant is 2, mercenaries 3. Archer is the most. He is 4 because that is Oliver Queen and he is the mayor, so he gets a bigger salary.
Queen consolidated too, so the guy's got money.
We can buy more peasants, so we start with 1, but we can buy more. We also can buy more knights. So the peasant and the knight are both cost of 2, but because we already have a starting one, they would cost us 3 for that first one.
But that might come into play with our duke cards, which we'll talk about in just a minute.
Right. So we have the rogue, which costs 2, the champion, which costs 2, the paladin, which costs 2, and the butcher, which costs 1.
Our goal, or what we kind of pretty much have found out, is you want to make sure you have all of your numbers covered, so you're always getting some resources when you start rolling. But that also comes into play with how you can buy these domains.
Right. So we start with basically 3 in a stack. The top one is always turned face up, but then there's 2 more that are face down underneath that. And the domains have symbols on the top as well, but these are symbols that we have to have on citizens in our kingdom. So you'll see this one requires a bird symbol. This one requires the key and dagger symbol. The cost for that domain is here. So in this case, the desert orchid would cost 9. At the end of the game, it's going to score 3 victory points, and then it'll say during or immediately. I think those are really about the only 2 that we have.
Or at the start of your phase, or you may.
So this one says, during your roll phase, you may pay 1 gold times the number of the bird citizens, and you can change any die face to a 1. So like Megan was saying, depending on what your duke card is, that will maybe determine what cards you're going to go after. So speaking of duke cards, we each start, there's a whole stack of them. We're dealt 2 duke cards. We flip them over, and then we decide which one of these we want to keep, and we'll discard the other one. So it'll say, these are all end of game scoring. So it'll say at the end of the game, you score, and it'll have a victory point, and then it'll be that many victory points times whatever the condition is. And then it also usually always has basically victory points for your resources that you have left over. In this case, for every 4 resources, and these are all added together, so every 4 you to get a victory point. In this case, this guy, you would get a victory point for every 3. So those are the 2 that I have. I think I am going to go with this guy here.
All right, I'll go ahead and take your dud. And I already picked my duke. And just to clarify, they're not just the bird or the hammer. The bird is the holy citizen.
Holy.
Your, like the key and dagger is going to be your shadow. Your helmets are your soldiers, and your hammers are your workers. But we just call them kind of what the symbol looks like.
Yeah.
But those are the correct names for them.
So, like Megan says, we are each going to start with 2 money, and a magic. Now, the way the magic works is magic by itself doesn't really do anything, but it supplements either your money or your attack. So in this case, I could actually buy something that costs 3 money because I have 2 money and a magic. If I was going to try to defeat a monster and I had, let's just say I had 1 strength and 1 magic, then that would actually count for 2 strength.
Yep. And the way the game kind of starts to come to an end is when any of these decks up here are exhausted. And once that happens, we have these little exhaust cards, and we will just go ahead and plop that into its place. Then once that 4th one is taken care of, that is when the game ends.
Now, in anything less than a 5-player game, we will start, each of the citizen stacks actually has 5 in them. I already had said that the domains, there are 3 in there, and there are also, I think, 5 in each of the monster stacks as well.
Yeah.
If you do play with 5, there are additional monster cards for each one of those factions that then you would add into the game. Now, Megan, it looks like you have decided to be first player.
Yeah,
First player, because you're going to get an equal number of turns, but the first player gets this token that basically just says first, and you'll see it looks like the Duke symbol. I think that really covers the setup, so let's get ready to play.
Just to make a disclaimer before we start, this mat does not come with the game.
Yeah, the mat is not included, so...
It is the One Night Ultimate Alien map from Bezier Games, but just to clarify, you don't get a cool alien mat with Valeria.
No, we just wanted something to roll on that was a little nicer.
Alright, so we've got a 3 and a 4 and a 7, so that's nothing.
So we will each be able to collect a resource of our choice. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about was that on our turn after the harvest, we actually get 2 actions. So an action can be either to defeat a monster, recruit a citizen, or get a domain, or get one of the resources of your choice. Now, you get 2 of those.
You don't have to do them in any order.
You don't have to do them in any order, and you can do the same action twice if you want. So say if you've got a lot of strength and you want to take out 2 monsters, you can.
Yep.
If you've got a lot of money and you want to recruit 2 citizens, you can, or the same with the domain.
Yep. So what we did with our harvest phase, that we both took a coin since nothing triggered there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start trying to build up my little kingdom down here. I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 and buy a champion because I like him. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he gives a lot of strength.
And that was my 1. You're good. And I'll just take another money for my second action.
All right, so I have a 3 and a 5. So our 5s, our peasants, will fire off, and we'll each get a coin.
It's a good thing I just bought that champion for 8, though, because he's going to fire off for me. So what I can do is I can turn in 1 gold for 4 strength, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do.
Yeah, for my first action, I am going to spend 3, and I'm going to buy a mercenary.
They're pretty good, too.
And for my second, I am going to spend a gold and my magic, so I will augment that, and I will take a merchant.
Nice.
So now I'm out of resources, but I'm covered for 2, 3, 5, and 6.
2, 6, and 8. So you're actually doing really good.
So yeah, my 2 fires, I get to. I only get 1 coin because it was on Megan's turn.
I'm loaded up on the strength, though, from my 6 and my 8.
Well, my 6 will give me a strength.
Yep. Ooh, let's go fight some monsters, because I've got some strength here. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and fight a dire bear up here.
A dire bear. Wonder where they got the name for a dire bear. It's probably a D&D thing.
Probably.
Like the owl bear that we have.
So he's worth 3 victory points, and I can either take 2 money or 2 magic. And I'm going to go ahead and take 2 magic. And one of the things we do is we keep our monsters in a face-down pile kind of with us, because there are some cards that allow you to take monsters at random from another player.
Yeah.
So we kind of hide it so we're not picking the good ones. So that was my first. And you know what? Let's go ahead and take out an owlbear for 4. And that gives me 2 magic. So that will be my turn.
All right. So I have a Oops, a 2 and a 5. So my 2 will fire. I get the option of either taking 2 coins or 2 magic.
It's pretty nice.
You know what? I think I'm going to take the 2 magic.
And your 5 gets you money.
The 5 will get me a money, and then a 7, which I do not have.
Don't have either.
But I think I will rectify that right now. I'm going to pay 2, and I will take a rogue.
That is a really good card to have too.
And then, do I want to kill anybody? Let's go ahead, and I'm going to use. I'm going to use all 3, and I'm going to kill Groot. His name is Treant, but he
looks like Groot's like granddad.
He's going to give 1 victory point at the end of the game, but I'm going to get a money and a magic for defeating him. So
nice.
There's my magic and my money.
All right. So we have a 2, a 6, and an 8, and you've got a 2. I've got a 6, and 8 is going to give me 4 strength again. I'm going to go ahead and buy a rogue for 2, and then I've got another 5. I might as well go ahead and get that other dire bear out of the way. Ooh, so now we have an orc warrior who came up, but my dire bear lets me get 2 magic or 2 money, and I'm going to go ahead and take the 2 money. And that was my 2. So the Orc Warrior is worth 9 and 3 victory points, and you can claim a citizen for 3 or less gold. I always want to say they're champions. Let's just pretend this is on Sakaar, and we're all just like recruiting champions.
You want to tell people what Sakaar is?
Sakaar is Thor Ragnarok. It's when the Grand Master collects all of them.
All right, so I've got a 2. I will take 2 money, 4. Which I do not have, and a 6, which is our knights.
If you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, guys, it's so good. It's the best Thor movie. Y'all should see it.
I think for 2, I'm going to buy a champion.
Okay.
And
So that was your first?
That was my first. And then I think for another 2, I'm going to buy a paladin.
Nice.
So I'm basically trying to build up so my numbers are covered.
That's what you pretty much want to do with your first
move
couple
these
here.
things around a little bit. And then you probably can't see all of them here, but
You got double 3s, so that works for you actually for
so
your mercenary.
when you do roll doubles, then that is going to trigger twice. So I will get to do that action, which is to spend a strength and get 2 money. And since I can do that twice, I'm going to spend both of those strengths and basically turn that into 4 money.
There you go.
And then a 6 will fire and we'll get a knight. So get one of those back.
Nice. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 magic and 2 money and take an archer for 4. And then I'm going to use a magic and a money. And I'm going to go ahead and get let's get a merchant for 2. And that'll be my turn.
All right.
Ooh, good thing I got 2s.
2 and 2. So mine will actually fire twice.
Same.
So, but I get good things. So I'm going to get
You get good things.
2 money for the first fire. And then I'm going to get 2 magic for the second fire.
Nice. And then
I don't have a 4.
I do. So it worked out.
So maybe I want to invest in a 4.
It's 4 money.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to invest. I'm going to get that archer for 4 money.
There you go.
And then I will invest a 1 and get the butcher. So building up my engine here.
It's always a good thing. 3,
Oops.
which I don't have yet. But you have a mercenary. And 4 fires with our archers.
So I will turn that into 2 money.
And then 7. You have a rogue as well, yeah. So 2 and 2 for me.
1 and 1 for me. Oops, that's a strength and a money.
Nice. Okay. I'm gonna spend 2 money and a magic to buy a cleric. And then let's see. Let's spend 2 money and another magic, and we'll buy this mercenary for 3. So that will be my turn.
Okay. 3 and a 5.
So I can turn in a strength for money, which I'm gonna
So
do.
I get a strength and a money for that.
5.
5 is a peasant, and 8, will get me 4 strength.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I can turn in 1 and get 4 strength. Turn into money, that is. How many you got? You gonna try to go for the orc?
Yeah, I'm gonna take 7 strength and 2 magic.
So he's 9, and you go ahead and get a citizen that is 3 or less. So everything but the archer.
A citizen that is 3 or less. Now, the way we have been playing this is when you get that benefit, you don't worry about the additional cost of that. I've not seen anything to the contrary on that, so that's what we're kind of going with. You know, I think I'm going to go with the cleric because I don't have a 1.
Okay.
That will
That
make sure I
covers
have
you
that.
up.
So I still have 1 action left.
You want to buy some domains because now you're covered on all of your bases there.
I am.
That is the nice thing. Once you get like all of your citizens, you can pretty much get any domain you want.
Let's see. For this one, I would need 3 hammers, which I don't have. I've got 1. I've got 2. So I can't get that one. Actually, I would have that.
For the Rogue's Landing? Or which one? Shattered Hand?
For the Rogue's Landing.
Rogue's Landing is immediately gain a hammer citizen
Yeah,
for
2,
the
4, 6,
center.
7. So I do have both of those symbols. I'm going to go ahead and buy that.
Alright, so go ahead and pick a hammer citizen.
So I will get let's see which hammer citizens I got. There's a butcher, a baker, and a candlestick maker.
Wow, I didn't know we had those citizens.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
cool.
the only hammer symbols that we have are the merchant and the butcher. I will go ahead and I'll take another merchant.
Those workers. Worker dudes. Was that your 2 or was that your 1? Oh, yeah,
That
because you
was
did
my
your
2,
orc your
yeah.
first. So our next domain is the Violent Thorn. During your action phase, when you slay a monster, you can gain a magic. So that's pretty nice. 3, 4, 7. So
I've got nothing to convert, unfortunately.
wow,
Oh, wait a minute. But I can do this in any order I want.
Yes,
So
you
I will
can.
actually get
that's true.
1 for my archer, and then I will turn that in and get 2 money.
Nice,
And then the rogue will fire and actually get me 1 of each.
very nice.
So
I've got
once you get your cards set up in your kingdom or your realm or whatever you want to call it, then resources become very plentiful.
I'm gonna go ahead and spend 9 strength and take out this orc warrior here. So then 3 or less, I need 9, 10, and 11, 12. So I'll go ahead and take this paladin for 2 since it's the more expensive. And then on that other turn, I'll pay 1 and get the butcher, and now I am completely covered.
Alright.
So I'm good too with my engine.
Ooh, a 1 and a 2.
So magic,
So I get 3 magic from my cleric.
money for the merchant,
My 2 actually is going to fire twice, and I'll just
and our
take
mercenary.
2 the first time, 2 money the first time, 2
Yes.
magic the second time, and the mercenary, which gets me a strength and a magic.
I'm gonna go ahead and pay a strength and get 2 magic.
I will spend 2, and I'm actually going to buy another butcher because he's 1, and then since I already have a butcher, it costs me an additional 1. So I have 2 of those now. Then I think I will buy another rogue, which the rogue will cost me 3 because it's 2 plus 1. So I'll actually spend 2 money and a magic.
Nice. All right. 4, 6, 10.
So archers give me that. A 6 gives me that.
10 is a strength and 2 magic. I'm
10
loading
is-
up here.
10, I can actually trade in a strength and get 3 magic. So I'm going to do that.
Let's see, I kind of like that shattered hand that looks like Elsa's castle there.
Let it go.
The cold never bothered me anyway. So there's 7 gold, and I have those symbols. So immediately gain a the holy citizen from the center stack with this. So let's see.
So the
That's the-
holies are the clerics and the paladins.
Paladin's pretty nice. So I'm gonna take a paladin. So there's that for my first turn. I should probably look at my Duke and see what do I really need to kind of focus on here. Well, I'm out of money, and I don't really want to fight any monsters right now, so I'm going to go ahead and take another strength for that second action.
All right. All right, a 5 and a 6. So it's going to be a money and a strength.
And 11 is with our butcher. Ooh, I
Ooh.
get 4 money for you rolling that butcher.
So I'm going to get to do this twice, which is 2 money for every hammer citizen I
That's
have.
nice.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow.
So 4 times 2 is 8.
16?
Multiply that, I'm going to get 16 money.
Dude. Well, what would you like to buy since you're rich? Jiminy.
That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's where them hammers come in.
Your workers are paying off.
Yeah, let's see. I've got a mercenary, so I'm going to spend 4. I'm going to buy another mercenary. And then I'm going to spend another 3, and I'm going to buy another champion.
Jeez. 1, 2, 3. That was,
Clerics
3 magic.
and merchants. I'm going to just take 4 magic from my... Oh, no, I don't get 4 magic. I only get 2 money.
I was like, wait a minute, what are you getting that from? And then 3 is 1 and 1. Okay.
3.
Woo.
I don't think I want to turn that in. Or do I? Knowing what you're doing now. Yeah, what the heck. I'm going to trade in 2 strength for 4 money.
I have 12 strength and 2 magic. Let's go ahead and knock out that orc chieftain.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's worth 6 victory points. And you're going to get some nice bonus there.
Yep, so our first deck is exhausted, so I get 2 times each of that mountain monster, which I have 4 in my hand, so we're going to go ahead and get 8 gold from that. 2, 4, 6, 8. And then I need to collect some people. I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 and buy a rogue. And that's my turn.
Okay. So, double 5s.
Nice.
So,
2
that's going to
money.
be 2 money for the peasants and 10.
Which I can do twice, actually, but I have no strength to convert to
I
magic.
get a strength and 2 magic. So I have 2 rogues already, so that new rogue is going to cost me 4. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that and buy that rogue.
Ooh, it's exhausted too.
And let's see. Let's go ahead and spend 5, and I'm going to buy another mercenary.
All right. Is that your 2?
That's my 2.
2, 4, 6.
Well, I get 2 money for my merchant,
I'm gonna take 2 magic.
and 1 from my archer,
I get
and 1 from my knight.
2, and then the knight. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and buy that last mercenary, which is gonna cost me 4. Come on, maybe.
Here, I get it.
There we go.
Alright.
And what is that last domain over there say?
This one is, it costs 9, gives 3 victory points. It says, during your roll phase, you may spend 1 money for every of the holy symbol citizens and make a die equal to 1.
I don't really like that one. Foxgrove's kind of the same. The Violent Thorn one's not bad. So that's only 7. I think I'll buy that one. 2, 4, 6, 7. So that one is during my action phase. When I slay a monster, I can gain a magic. So that's my turn.
Okay. So a 1 and a 3.
3s
So
go 20.
3 magic.
I'm good.
My 3 is my mercenary. So
2 and 2.
actually, I
got
have 3
3.
mercenaries, so I'm going to get 3 strength and 3 money to go with that. And then 4 is my archer, which would be 2 more strength.
Nice.
So I think we're going to be killing some monsters here.
I don't blame you.
Let's go ahead and let's
How much
kill.
you got?
I'm going to kill an owlbear for 4.
You get 2 magic. Would you like to kill another owlbear? Or another?
You know what? I think I will.
There you go.
I'm going to augment that with some magic though, because I got like a ton of magic.
Got ya.
And
You're just
that
harming
gives me
all
2
these
magic back.
animals.
So that is my turn.
Alright. 5, 5, 10. So 5s are going to fire twice, which is kind of not the best. 10 gets me 2 strength and 4 magic.
I'm going to
though.
trade that strength in for 3 magic.
Nice. So he's 8, 4, 6, 7 magic, 1 strength. And we'll go ahead and get this giant. So that's 1 money and 2 magic back. And he's 3 points. At the end of the game, the troll, that's not in the dungeon, is 12. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nope, I'm 1 shy.
Now, he's the last in there, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Ooh, you could take him out, though. You've got all the magic over there. I need that dude. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 and buy another champion. And that will be my turn.
Okay.
This could be the very last round.
Yeah, it will be. So
All
5
right,
and a
then.
6. So peasant and gives me a gold. Soul or a knight gives me a strength, and an 11, which I can fire off twice.
Nice.
Will get me 2 gold for every hammer citizen that I have, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And multiply that, it's 16.
Do you have one of those dukes that gives you bonuses for what you have left?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I need 6 more.
12, 14, 16.
Thank you.
There you go.
So yeah, I have all these monies.
That's going to help you at the end of the game, though.
You know what? For 10. So 4, 5, 6, 7,
Ooh.
8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm going to take that. That is the Purloiner's Perch. I can immediately take a random monster from a player.
Hang on. Let me shuffle these bad boys up. I don't want you getting my my good guy.
You're a good guy?
My orc chieftain.
Your orc chieftain.
Alright. Have at him.
Let's take that.
You don't want that one!
Hey, I got the orc chieftain.
Ugh.
What do you know?
You still have a turn, though.
Yeah, I still have 1 more.
Oh, dude. You're going to win. I know it.
I could take out the troll in the dungeon.
You want to for 12? You got all that magic. You might as well,
2,
dude.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And you get 2 magic for each of those valley monsters that you have.
They're like Valley Girls.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh. How many
That
of the
was bad.
valleys do I have? I have 1, 2. I have 2 plus him is 3.
6.
So that's going to get me 6.
Not bad.
So 2, 4, 6 magic back. So yeah, so since Megan was the first player,
Yep.
and we have 4, actually we have 5 exhausted piles, that
game.
will trigger the end of the game. So let's add everything up and find out who is the winner. Okay, well, this is a case of where my Duke paid off, because I got 13 points just in resources alone, and then I got another 23 in the symbols, because you also count the symbols that are on your domains as well as your citizens.
Yep.
So that really helped. So the final score was Dad had 61, Daughter had 39.
Yeah, which I normally win this game.
You do. I've only won one other time.
Yep.
So I consider myself lucky.
I mean, you did get lucky with all those resources. That helped you a lot.
That it was just ridiculous. I mean,
And
being
then
able
you
to get
took
all
my
those.
biggest monster.
Well, that was a 12-point swing because I
Yeah,
got
I
6
know.
points and you lost 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was big. So now that we have discussed in length the score, let's get to what we think. All right, Megan, I'll let you go first.
All right, so I know we said at our very beginning this is kind of Machikoro-esque, and that's kind of what drew me to this game at first. Was kind of like that idea. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
me
do
too.
like that type of game, because I really do like Machikoro. And I remember first game we played, I was like, I don't like this game. Like, I did not have a good vibe with it. And we played it with a different variant, because there's a couple different setups. So we played with all the setups and all the cards, and I was like, okay, I kind of can see where this is, getting a little bit better. We played with a different variant, and I was like, okay, I like this one. Let's play with the next one. So my opinion definitely changed as I played through all the different versions, all the different cards. I really like this game now.
And this is just the base set.
Yes.
There
are expansions.
There are a number of expansions that come out with
Which I
this.
think we should maybe get, because I do really like this game. And I like mixing and matching all of the different citizens and monsters, because there's some really cool ones too.
Well, and you were talking about the different setups that we have. The rule book, so what we played here was what they suggest for your first game. Then they have 3 other variants.
Yes. So right in the very last
Or setups,
page
I should say.
of your rulebook, you have the Glittering Gold, Mastery over Magic, and Monster Blood, which pretty much tell you what resources you're mainly going to majority in those games.
Yeah.
So you're going to get lots of gold, lots of magic, lots of strength.
I like the Monster
That
Blood
one's
one.
fun.
I think out of all those, that was my favorite. Now, one of the things we've not done is
made our own setup.
there's a you can do that, and then there's a mixed set too, where you basically shuffle all the ones together, all the twos together, and then you figure out what your setup's going to be based on that.
That would be kind of cool too. But I know we did show this off in our unboxing, but I do like this aspect of the box, is that they give you dividers. And they give you, very nicely labeled ones. Everything fits. And they give you these foam blocks. So, because, there's so much room left in this box here. Go
That's
ahead
for
and
the
show that off.
expansions,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you have a lot of room for expansion. You have a whole other well here, and I love this well design here for these tokens.
Now, we didn't talk about this at all in the setup. These basically are resource markers. So, when you play with more than 2 players, you may run out of the resources. So, this is like 5, that was like 10, and there's the different
We've
kinds that
never
are in
run
there.
into that, but I really do like this box insert. I
And
think
speaking
that's
of
cool.
which, we've not played this with more than 2.
We have not.
I think it can be a very good game at the higher player counts as well.
You're definitely going to start running out of decks, I think, a lot quicker. Or maybe about the same, because, everyone's probably going to try our same strategy with your starting. It's just kind of building up your engine, trying to get all of those, one of each. But, if you're trying to go for a certain icon, what your Duke is, you could easily exhaust decks really quickly.
Yeah, and one of the other things I like about this, because I do like this game a lot, is the replayability. There is a
Yes.
whole stack of Duke cards, and you're only going to play with 1 per player per game. Like we said, there are, with the exception of the 5 and 6, which is the Peasant and the Knight, there are another set of those numbers. So you can
Yes.
have, like I said, all sorts of variants when you mix and match those together.
There's so many domains, and you always take out about 4 different domains for each of the setups. So, and you're never going to know which ones are particularly going to pop up. So I think that's kind of interesting as well.
And even then, even though you're taking some out, you're also only having 3 domains in a stack. Now, if you want a longer game, you could put more in.
Easily, yeah.
But so those are going to be not perfect information, because you're not going to know which ones of the other ones are not going to be part of the game.
And this game does not come with a rule sheet, but I know you found a pretty nice one on BGG. And it is pretty nice. I would probably recommend downloading it and printing it off. And you can play about 2 games per sheet there.
Yeah, you can
it's
see
really
that.
nice.
So yeah, this was just printing off 1. So you can see you get basically 2,
You
or you get 4
8,
sheets
yeah.
basically per piece of paper, and you can put up to 5 players on each one and 2 games. So that's not bad.
So by the Yamade Board Game Club. So check
Yeah.
them out on BGG.
They did a good job with that.
Very nice. So it's definitely just a little addition to add.
So let's talk about components. I think the components are top notch. I
They
really
are.
like these nice chunky dice, and as we said in our unboxing, they kind of have that little marble
Yeah.
granite look to it. You can go put that next to your kitchen counter. But those look really neat. You know, the numbers are nice and clear. They're etched in there, so those are nice. I think the artwork is great. I
They're
really
cool.
like it, especially you look at like the champion here. I mean,
Dude, he's ready for a battle. He's going in there.
this reminds me of my buddy Ross, who he does like the medieval reenacting. Puts on the armor, goes and
that's cool.
wax people, and yeah, he's got about the same amount of hair there. But yeah, so every time I see this, I think of Ross.
See, I thought it looked like a really upset Simon Pegg, but you know.
Well, that could be, but I really like the artwork and all the other stuff. The cleric, I'm not so wild about that one, but
Yeah.
most of the other ones, especially the monsters, I think
They're cool.
look really cool. The dukes, they all kind of have this
Kinda look
really
slimy.
weird look to them.
I wouldn't trust any of these dukes personally,
But that's kind of neat. The wooden components for each of the resources, and we didn't even show off the victory point ones because we didn't have any cards that actually gave us the victory points by turning stuff in. But these are they're nice and wooden.
And I said early on too, I was like, it's nice not to kind of have that cardboard one, even though looking at these cardboard ones, they're nice and thick, and the artwork on there is very nice, and you can very easily tell what they are. But I kind of like having these wooden ones, even though they are just like plain and they're colored. I mean, you could have done like stickers or something design on these, but just having them painted in wood and Spain. Okay, hello. Too close, dude.
Yeah, these so like the butcher, he's pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of H from Ready Player One.
A little bit, yeah.
But no, I think the artwork is really cool. Even the cards, the finish on the cards, and you can see the back of the citizen cards there. Those look really kind of neat. The back of the monster cards also look pretty neat. You got the looks like the Dead-Eyed Army there from like Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
So that looks really cool. The domains,
Yeah, they're all really
they all have their own different backs. So the domains look like this. And we showed you what the exhausted card looks like. Looks like that. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, overall, I think it's a really good game. If you are kind of a fan of these type of games, definitely get it. If you kind of like Machikoro but don't want Machikoro, I know we're kind of throwing that game around a lot, but it is a very good comparison to the extent of like kind of how the gameplay works. But it's a lot meatier.
Yeah, I would say this is a step up from Machikoro. I don't know that I would say that this is a meaty game at all because it is rolling, but once you get your engine together and
It's more interesting.
there is strategy because there was a game that we played the other night where I didn't even try to go for collecting all the numbers. Like the ones on the ends, like the ones in the 11 and 12. I don't even think I went for.
No,
I
you
went to
didn't.
try to build up the middle to try to maximize. I think that was the one when we played
Is that the monster one?
It might have been either the monster one or the magic one.
I think it was the
But I
magic
was
one,
going
though.
for the ones that would allow me to turn things into things. Like the champion here allows you to turn 1 gold into 4 strength. So I was trying to do that. It might have been the warlord one.
Yeah.
So I think that was the monster one. The game does play 1 to 5. I've not really looked at the solo rules because really I'm not all that interested in playing solo games. But in a 5-player game, like I said, we would add 1 more for each of the citizens, and you would add 1 more for each of the monster stacks as well.
There isn't really much of a take that aspect to your opponent. I can't find the domain card right now, but I know there are a couple that say, like, if you do a certain thing, you can take them, like take some of the resources from another player, and that's kind of that get your neighbor sort of thing that I like.
Well,
but-
there's the thief card that we after we played with it, we both really didn't like it because the way the thief card works is you get to take either 3 gold or 3 magic from an opponent, but because you roll that number, they're actually going to get either 2 gold or 2 magic back. So essentially, they're losing 1 overall. But after we played that, we're like, we felt like we had to keep up with you know, if I had 2 thieves, then Megan would make sure she had 2 thieves. But you can see here, you know, you either get 3 gold or 3 magic from another player. And maybe this comes into play more with more players when these
Yeah.
are spread out more. I don't know.
But
That
for
was really the
us,
only card I
yeah,
didn't like.
It was just kind of like, okay.
But no, overall, I enjoy the game. I'm now
it.
looking forward to playing with some of the expansions. We've played this now several times. Like I said, we've played with all the variants with the exception of just kind of mix and matching. I don't think it's going to change the game that much, but with new cards will come new abilities and such. So
Yep.
I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, so definitely get this if you really like it. Go ahead and pop some expansions into play, kind of create your own version, and
this
definitely
is
get it.
This is a game. I think the fact that you're rolling dice and you're just collecting resources and then spending the resources.
It's a fairly easy game.
I think you can get non-gamers to play this. You're engaged on every roll of the dice when
Yes.
it's even when it's not your turn because your guys are going to fire off and give you something. So there's really no downtime. I don't think people would be bored.
No. Because
like I
you're
said-
always constantly building up your resources, and then you kind of maybe start thinking ahead on what you want to do next turn. So.
This would be a very social game because kind of like in Machikoro, you know, when someone rolls that number that you really want and you're like, yay. And there are some that are actually more beneficial to you when your opponent rolls them
The
as
butcher.
opposed,
In this game, because he gets you 4 gold.
yeah. So you can see on your turn, I did get a lot of gold because I had 2 butchers. But you can see that, you're going to get 4. If you just have 1 butcher in play and you only have 1 of those citizens, maybe, you're only going to get 2. There's another one. I can't think of which one it is now.
It was in one of the other variants we played, I know.
Yeah, that you're going to get to do more.
Yeah.
Sometimes what you do is you're going to do conversion, you know, give a strength and get money, get a couple bucks or money or whatever. So I do like that aspect as well. But like I said, I really struggled to find anything I don't like about this game other than that thief card I didn't care for too much.
Yeah.
I did also find too, I don't, and this is just my play strategy, I don't go for the domains as much. Now, a lot of that is handled by your Duke because some of the Dukes will give you bonus points for the domains you have. The other thing is you do get the symbols. So like my Duke, I was getting only 1 point for each one of these. But if I had that card, I'd get 2 points at the end of the game for that. Plus I'd get another 3 for my Duke.
Which isn't too bad, but it's kind of more you have to start thinking what's going to give you the more points in the end. Is it going for those monsters? Is it, you know, maybe letting your opponent go for more monsters and then sweeping in and building up your strength and taking out the bigger ones?
Yeah, I think there's a
so
lot of strategies you
There
can try.
is, yeah. There's a bunch of different things you could try to get, but overall it's a great game.
Yep. So that is Valeria Card Kingdoms, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.